I see lefties do this sometimes too, like with economics, with like the field of economics, for example, where they make the mistake of assuming that Reaganomics or trickle down economics or whatever the fuck else are endorsed by economics professors, by the field, when in reality they're not. Overwhelmingly, they're not. Like the Reagan and people like Reagan have just selected the few compliant economics guys to stand with them. You know,
Yeah, the supply side advocates, they get like some of their polished professionals to come out there, but they're being very selective with that. The majority of economists do not agree with supply side economics. I remember when I was in AP US history, my history teacher actually, she said, "Oh, Reaganomics was short-term pain for long-term gains." So there are some academics or, people in education who will promote this idea, but it's not widely accepted.
so we dismiss the entire field because we under the guise of like ideological rejection, we're actually leaving a lot of knowledge on the table. Vaush talking himself to elitist socialism. Haven't you seen what I've been doing with the rural poor? No, I mean this. We need to get more gatekeepy, more pretentious, and more elitist, because right now everyone is getting stupider and everyone is getting lazier. At what point do you realize like there has to be a widespread social movement? There has to be a pushback against this, not just on the broader social, like the fabric. We have like Mamdani lead people to socialism, blah blah blah. It has to go beyond that, right? We have to begin to value exceptionalism again, not in like one race over another, stupid like substitutive bullshit like that, but in trying your best. Shouldn't we?
Yeah, I get what he's saying. So I assume there's a little bit of hyperbole there in saying we should be more elitist, because that's something that a lot of leftists despise and populists despise that. But the idea of being more elitist in terms of like, yeah, we happen to know more than you. We happen to be better informed, The more educated you are, the less likely you are to be far right. That just is the case. That just is the case. It's hard to be far right if you're well educated and you understand how the world works. And as far as gatekeeping goes, yeah, the Republicans gatekeep super hard. They kind of do, actually. Look at how much in the Republican primary they bullied people who didn't like Trump. You got Vivek Ramaswamy up there yelling at Chris Christie. You got them telling Mike Pence and Nikki Haley to piss off. So yeah, they are very gatekeepy. And so maybe progressives and Democrats could learn a lesson from that and in their primaries be more gatekeepy.
Isn't that good? This is how you alienate people? I disagree, because I think if you accept mediocrity, they will fall to fascism. I disagree completely. I think that fascism appeals to the mediocre because it tells them, hey, the reason your life is shit is because of an external group. It's a different race, a different religion, a different whatever. They're the reason why things are going poorly. And they get led around by the nose. They get led around by the short hairs because they're a fucking loser. Why can't you get laid? It's the Jews or something. It's BBC. It's something's keeping you from being happy, but it's not you. This is the mantra of every fascist leader. I think that you need to develop people personally, make them strong in order to help them resist this. You have to.
Yes, especially strong in terms of how much they know and how much they understand the world. That's why education is important.
You don't alienate people. You actually bring people on board. And frankly, in my experience, the socialists who are so ill-tempered as to be off-put by suggestions that they work on their own lives too are fair-weather socialists at best. These are people who are mostly concerned with in-group bias and like forming tight-knit friend circles that reaffirm their existing like personal problems. These aren't people who are actually like warriors for the ideology. They just they want a social club. So I feel like you're not really risking much. You should advocate for let people engage in a little bit of like self-betterment. Push people to be better. Don't just
Definitely push people to be better. Don't berate them. Don't be snobbish. Don't say the reason that you believe in those ideas is because you're not well educated enough and you're a fool. It's a tough line. It's a hard one to walk. But you have to get forward the idea that, being exceptional tends to make you less susceptible to the fallacies of fascism. It just is the case. So I think Vaush is mostly right here. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.